Lightwater Valley Park is known for providing a thrilling experience for families. But beneath the fun-filled facade, the amusement park has a dark past. The park's centerpiece, the Treetop Twister roller coaster, was the site of a horrific incident in 2001 that resulted in a young woman's death. Almost a decade later, tragedy struck again when a 7-year-old child fell from the same ride. The chilling history of this roller coaster will leave you wondering if it's a place for fun or something more sinister. It all started in 1969 when Lightwater Valley Family Adventure Park opened as a simple farm in the city of Ripon in North Yorkshire, England. But the following year, the owners began adding attractions, and that's when things started to get interesting. Since then, the park has changed hands several times, and each new owner brought their own unique twist to the park. But the most shocking incident in Lightwater Valley's history took place on the Treetop Twister roller coaster. And just for your information, the Treetop Twister was not your average roller coaster. Its 1,370 feet of terror left riders breathless as it took them on a ride of a lifetime. With a height of 42 feet and the ability to reach speeds of up to 32 miles per hour, this roller coaster may have seemed easygoing, but it would have riders' hearts racing from start to finish. The sharp, unbanked turns that this ride was famous for would test even the bravest riders as they navigated through them in single-car vehicles fit for 4 passengers. The carriages were designed to be wider than the track, giving the riders the sensation of hanging over the edge and the possibility of flying out on the non-banked turns. In May 2001, the Treetop Twister opened its gates to the public, promising to provide an unforgettable experience. Thrill seekers from all over the world came to Lightwater Valley Family Adventure Park, eager to be among the first ones to ride this new roller coaster. But just as the sun was beginning to shine down on the theme park, the skies turned dark with tragedy. Just a mere 3 weeks after the start of its operations, an incident occurred on the Treetop Twister that would shake the park to its very core. It was a seemingly normal Wednesday afternoon. At precisely 1:45 p.m., Gemma Louise Savage, a 20-year-old medical student at Durham University, was on the ride with some friends when something went terribly wrong. As the roller coaster reached breakneck speeds, 2 carriages collided in a deafening crash. The impact was devastating, and the screams of the passengers echoed throughout the park. Gemma suffered severe head and neck injuries that would ultimately prove fatal. She was airlifted to a hospital nearby. But despite the best efforts of the medical staff, she passed away the next day. 3 other passengers were also injured, one of whom suffered a broken arm. The incident left a dark cloud over the park, with staff and visitors wondering how such a tragedy could happen. It was a miracle that the carriages didn't derail, as that would have led to an even more disastrous and deadly incident. The chilling event left investigators baffled and the public in shock. At first, all fingers pointed to Eric Butters, a maintenance worker who claimed to have never seen the Treetop Twister ride manual and only received a mere hour of training. But as the investigation progressed, it became clear that something far more sinister was at play. How could the park be so incompetent? The employee may have been the initial bad guy, but it was soon discovered that it was not entirely his fault. The ride's faulty wiring was discovered to be the cause of the tragedy, but even that wasn't the end of it. In a stunning turn of events, it was revealed that the park's safety policies were extremely inadequate, and it was their responsibility to ensure all staff members were properly trained to perform their jobs, including Eric Butters. He and the park were charged with failing to ensure the safety of the riders. The ride's manufacturer was also found guilty of failing to ensure the ride's safe design and construction. But justice was never fully served. The manufacturer and the park got away with it, thanks to their bankruptcy and liquidation in 2008. However, the true cost of their negligence was revealed when the park owners and ride manufacturers were fined a total of $200,000. That is nothing compared to the suffering that death must have caused the victim's family. The Treetop Twister tragedy may have taught Lightwater Valley the importance of safety, but it seems the lessons were not enough. In a sickening case of déjà vu, tragedy struck once again, at the same park, on the same ride, under the same moon. It happened almost a decade after the incident that killed Gemma. The park was almost ending its peaceful operations for the day, when suddenly, the peace was shattered by a call to the emergency services at 11:45. A 7-year-old child had fallen from the Treetop Twister roller coaster. Tragedy had struck once again. An investigation found that the child had not been wearing its seatbelt, which should have been secured and checked by the workers before launching the carriage. Once again, the staff's negligence was at fault. It was a tragic case of human error that had devastating consequences. The ride's car featured both a seatbelt and a safety bar. But the child's seatbelt was not fastened, and he slipped through the gap between the seats and the restraining bar. How could they let this happen? Initially, it seemed that the child had survived the fall, but as he was rushed to the hospital, his condition deteriorated fast. It soon became clear that the child had suffered internal bleeding, and he was placed on life support for a week. The child's life hung in balance as investigators scrambled to piece together what had happened. The ride incident will forever haunt those who witnessed it. The kid's body was flung out of the carriage, hanging dangerously in midair, and his mother was powerless to save him. Visitors watched in horror as the tragedy unfolded in slow motion. People waiting in line and on the ground screamed for the operator to stop the ride, but their cries went unheard. The operator only hit the emergency brakes when it was too late, and the child plummeted to the ground. In the aftermath of the fall, chaos ensued as people rushed to save the child. His father and others jumped over the fence to help him, but an off-duty police officer quickly arrived on the scene and prevented them from moving him. The child was bleeding from his head, but he remained conscious. Despite his bravery, the child's internal injuries were severe, and he was on life support for a week. He fought with all his might, and in the end, he won the battle for his life. Even though the brave child survived, the incident left a lasting impact on all those involved. It sent shockwaves through the park and the nation as a whole. It was a sobering reminder that even the most stringent safety measures can fail in the face of human error. The child's near-fatal fall was a chilling echo of the tragedy that had occurred on the same ride years earlier. Once again, Lightwater Valley was forced to confront the devastating consequences of neglecting safety protocols. It was the stuff of nightmares. The event sparked a legal battle, with the park owners held responsible for their failure to enforce safety policies. The staff members were only trained to secure people with the restraint bar, which the judge found not to be good enough to hold passengers, especially youngsters. The theme park owners admitted their guilt and paid a fine of around $500,000. The ride was closed and left to rust, a grave reminder of the devastation it had caused. The memory of that fateful day still lingers, haunting staff and visitors with the knowledge of what happened on that ride. However, that's not the end of the story. Just like a monster that refuses to die, the Treetop Twister returned, reincarnated as a traveling attraction. It's hard to believe that anyone would want to ride it again, but the allure of danger and excitement is just too much to resist. The ride was purchased by British showman Emerson Edwards, who took it upon himself to refurbish the cursed attraction. If you're brave enough, you can experience the Treetop Twister for yourself, but be warned, this ride has a dark past that will make your heart race with every twist and turn. Are you ready to face your fears and take on this thrill ride? Let us know in the comments section below. Are you brave enough to watch more roller coaster tragedies? Like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. That's it for now. Stay safe and we'll see you in the next one.